Second. All right, Judge, we seem to be going.
All right. All right, we'll call to order this meeting, the Cracken County Fiscal Court meeting, October 26, 2020, via Zoom. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bartleman,
Here.
Commissioner Jones,
I think Commissioner Jones was not going to be with us this evening. He's in a trial.
Commissioner Parker,
Here.
and Judge Connor.
Here. Commissioner Bartleman, you offer a prayer, please.
Well, Father, we thank you for the blessings of this day. We thank you for the opportunity we have to serve this county, and we just pray you be with us as we make decisions, that there will be not only the betterment of all the residents of this county, but will be good in life. Father, we pray for our first responders that are protecting the safety and the life of the citizens in this county. Give them safety as they perform those duties, Father. And we're just thankful for all that you do for us day by day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Man.
All right, thank you. And join us in the pledge, please stand. Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United
United
States
States
of America, and to the republic
to the republic,
for which it stands,
stands
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
individual,
with
with
liberty and
liberty
justice for all. All right, the first up's the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve that?
It is
made.
ordered.
Pardon me?
Do you want me to
Go
read
ahead,
the
Ricky.
order, sir?
Yeah, he asked for the motion. I'm sorry. He threw me off.
It is ordered to approve the consent agenda for the October 26, 2020 McCracken County Fiscal Court.
So made.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. Budget transfers.
It is ordered that the necessary cash transfers in the amount of $360,000 be made in order to pay county bills and payroll approved October 26, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. That carries. Accounts payable.
It is ordered to approve the vouchers claim register from October 12, 2020 to October 26, 2020 to show county bills in the amount of $261,771.20 were paid.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. That carries. Next we have on schedule is George Bray about the airport terminal. I don't know if George is with us just yet. He had another meeting that he was going to wrap up. Oh, there he is.
I am here, but Dennis Rouleau is not here. Dennis, are you on? So could I ask for a little grace here, Judge?
No way. Yeah, well, we got about 10, 15 minutes of other things we can do here.
Okay, we'll be ready, I
All
promise.
right, we'll come right back around to you. All right, so let's go on into court orders.
It is ordered that the order of October 12, 2020, adopting the recommendation of staff to accept the Humana proposal is amended to show the increase in dental as 3% and not 6%. All other percentages remain the same.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion?
If we wait another 2 weeks, can we get it down to 0%?
Pam is shaking her head no.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered that upon receipt of insurance funds for the Sheriff's Department vehicle that was involved in an accident and totaled, It is ordered that the fiscal court pay Linwood Motors the sum of $17,536.64 towards the purchase of a replacement vehicle, a 2020 Dodge Durango all-wheel drive vehicle for the Sheriff's Department. The remaining balance of $10,226.36 will be paid by the McCracken County Sheriff's Office Drug Fund.
So made.
Second. That's
Discussion.
75. Is that what we got in insurance? That the insurance?
Yeah, 17,000 was the settlement on the totaled car. And then the price we're paying is the same as we paid for all the prior Durangos we've already purchased.
What year was the one that was totaled?
That's Ryan's here, but I want to say it was a 2017 or a 2018.
Okay.
We thought the settlement amount was decent and reasonable. The vehicle had in excess of 100,000 miles on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. That carries. C.
It is ordered that the judge executive is authorized to sign an addendum to the inmate telecommunications general service agreement originally entered into with Combined Public Communications and McCracken County Jail. Said original agreement had a commencement date of January 16th, 2019. This addendum is to provide access to fast case law library service for inmates at the McCracken County Jail. The annual cost of this service is based on an average daily population of 469 inmates at $1 per inmate per month for a total of $469 per month.
So made.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Let me ask a question. Are we going to monitor this to make sure it's used and worth the amount of money we're paying for it?
So I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure we monitor everything. I don't know if the system, how it monitors internally. Of course, in the old days, we had a room with books and a Westlaw computer, and we knew how many people were going in. This is actually, as I understand it from the jailer, they will access this from the kiosks that are in all the cell blocks. So I don't know if we know how much it's actually being used, but I will find out the answer to that question.
Anything else? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
We already
no.
voted.
That carries. All right, well, I'll tell you, we only got two more things here. Let's wrap those up. I think we can real quick before we go to Dennis and George. Board appointments.
It is ordered that Benny Hetty is reappointed to the West McCracken Water Board to serve a new 2-year term, which expires November 30th, 2022.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. That carries. Resolutions.
It is hereby ordered that a resolution is hereby adopted and enacted, with such a resolution being necessary to set forth the written determinations of this court with regard to the disposition of certain surplus county-owned tangible property described as 2 Dodge Ram trucks with vehicle identification numbers of 1C6RR7XT2LS130206 and 1C6RR7XT5LS122603, and to expressly authorize the judge executive to execute all documents necessary to effectuate transfer of said vehicles.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion?
As I understand, we'll have a minimum bid on these. Is that right?
Yes, we'll put a reserve on it. We've not really discussed what reserve to put, but certainly no less than what we paid for them.
Okay.
Steve, I'll give some people your number. Have you had anybody calling or?
Yes, I've had one call.
You'll probably get a couple more.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. All right, we got Dennis Rouleau, let's see, and George. Dennis, there's Dennis. Both of them here for the airport terminal discussion. George, Dennis, it's all yours.
Yeah, I'll kick off real quick, Judge and Commissioners. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk with you today. We have a couple of goals for the meeting today. First of all, Dennis is going to give you an overview of the project itself. We've been working on this project for right on 3 years now, and have been working closely with the FAA. We have a groundbreaking actually scheduled for Friday, November 6th. Where the governor and a lot of distinguished guests will be there. So I think it's time to provide an update to you and the community and how the project is really going. And then the second goal of today is to give you an kind of a placeholder, if you will, of what the cost of the terminal will be and what for lack of a better word, what the maximum local share that the community has to come up with, what we estimate it to be. And we can certainly have some discussions. We've had some one-on-one discussions with you and others, but we think it's time to talk about all of this. And so Dennis has been doing yeoman's work. Not only on managing the airport during COVID, but also working on this project. And so I'm going to turn it over to him and let him walk you through exactly where we are. And so Dennis, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, it's good to all meet you. Sorry under these circumstances by video. Prior to my arrival last year, August 5th, the board of directors hired CHA and Alliance to be the engineering and architectural firm for the new terminal project. And about September of last year, we received the first of many grants from the FAA. We received $2.4 million to support the engineering and the architectural work for that. And then this past summer, I believe it was July, we received another $500,000 grant to complete the funding for the design of the terminal for Alliance and for the work that Alliance and CHA are doing. And so we went out to bid this summer for package one of the terminal project. And package one deals with the entrance road, grading and drainage of the terminal project. And unfortunately, we received a low bid of 15% below engineer's estimate. And that went to Smith Contracting. And that number was just under right around $8 million for the first package of that. And then after that, we received a grant from the FAA for $16.3 million to help fund that project, and also the terminal bill, also the I'm sorry, not the terminal building, but the apron, which left about 4.1 million for the terminal project. In addition to that, we received $5 million from the state of Illinois. I'm sorry, the state of Kentucky. Sorry, to support the terminal building. And so we also have $80,000 from PACRO, and the contribution that the city and county has submitted thus far, the $140,000 and the $140,996 from the city of Paducah. So in total, up to now, we've raised $24,860,000 and 99. I'm sorry, $24,860,996 so far in funding, most of which is obviously from the FAA and the state of Kentucky. And so I'll go ahead and give you a brief, may I have the screen? And while I'm waiting for that, and so we have package 2 ready to go, and that will be dealing with the apron project, and that will be coming out probably in December, maybe January of December of this year, January of 2021. And as George says, we have a groundbreaking ceremony planned for November 6th. And where Governor Bashir is expected to attend, along with FAA, City, County, Barker Regional Airport Authority. And because of COVID, we are required to social distance. We would have loved to open it up to a lot more people who have been instrumental in helping us with this project, but we've had to keep the numbers down for social distancing. So do I have the screen?
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to give it to somebody.
I think you hit share. And then you have an option to give it to multiple participants, I believe.
I've done that now.
Okay.
Okay. So give me a moment while I, it always goes well before the meeting. Okay, to give you an overview of one of the big questions is where's the new terminal going to be located? This arrow shows where the existing terminal is now, and where the star is this vacant farmland that we owned that is basically a virgin site, and it's next to the control tower. This is where it's going to be. This is West Airport Road, and this is Fisher Road, right in here. Sorry. So moving along, and here's a recent view of the freshly harvested area where the terminal is going to go into, and the road will come up through here, cross in here, and loop around and back. There'll be ample room for future development, economic development, whether it's for a hotel or another aeronautical use, an airport restaurant, and we have development out in here for future aeronautical use. Okay, here's an overview that shows the terminal building, actually right in here. Here's the terminal building, and shows these outlots that we have for future development. Whether it's a hotel, we show this area as a possible, in addition to the terminal, or a restaurant that could be supported by not only by terminal traffic, but the general public. And this is what the concept of the terminal. We're showing a 10-foot overhang to give a sense of a front porch, what is typical in the South, in the Kentucky area. And so this 10-foot overhang will also shield the summer sun from heating up the terminal. And we're showing Kentucky limestone, but we're also looking, this is a placeholder. But we're also looking at other less expensive textures like brick and putting a feature on the brick. And this is the front view going into the terminal building. And this will be a pergola, but covered. So we don't have resting birds on here doing their business on our customers. There's another view. And again, another view of the terminal. This is another view of the terminal. This will be the center vestibule. Ticketing's down here, rent-a-car down in here. This will be the rent-a-car area, again, overhang. And this is an airside view. This will be the gate area, and we're showing one jet bridge. So like you see the passengers here with this jet bridge, you won't need to walk out on the tarmac and enter the terminal, but we've provided for that in the event that we have multiple flights. So we're only showing one jet bridge. And that jet bridge alone is estimated to be just under $1 million. This is inside the terminal building, the main lobby. This is the ticketing area. These walls are bare because we're only 30% into the design. This will be a feature wall that we're in discussions right now with a group of people that we have helping us with this. This will be exposed wood and general seating and rent-a-car down at the end. And again, general seating as passengers or as visitors waiting for their friends and loved ones to come off their plane, they'll be greeted here in this seating area, and this is the street area. And this is a much improved gate area than what we have today. And this wall will be another feature wall. And we'll have accommodations to handle today's traveler with power needs. All the seats will be powered, so you can plug in your electronic device. And we're showing club style seating along the front window. And again, there'll be a jet bridge along here. So that's pretty much it on the terminal design itself. To get to the numbers, and so this $360,000 that we're showing here is the number that we've already received from the city and county and PACRO. And so this $5,806,107 is the local match that we anticipate needing, in addition to all the federal money that we're expected to receive. We're hoping to get at least another 10 to 15 million from the FAA. And so to deal with some of the items that the FAA will not pay for example, they would not pay for the public parking area because it's paid. And so we're showing a $2 million for the public parking. We're showing $150,000 for the public parking management system, $200,000 for the employee parking lot, and $400,000 for the rent-a-car lot. Some of these items the FAA will not pay for. And so we're showing of a need for March of 2021. And this is a best case scenario, if everything comes into alignment, that the FAA is able to release money sooner than they would normally would. As you all know, that the federal government is on a continuing resolution. And so in the past, that has hampered things. Money is not released until towards the end of the federal fiscal year after they've gone through. But in the event that there's a budget struck, and everything works like clockwork, we're anticipating a need for March of 2021 of a county and city need for 1,643,331. And then in January, sorry, I have to move. January 2022, the final amount of $4,162,776. Now we've
Now, let me interject here, just Dennis, right here to make sure that I go over a couple of these numbers, because you mentioned something that confused me just a little bit. But the anticipated maximum local share at this point in the project, we believe, is $5.8 million, $5,806,000, which split equally between the city and county would be somewhere around 2.9 million each. The earliest, the very earliest that we would need an expenditure from the city or county, which we believe, which is estimated to be somewhere around 1.6 million, would at the very earliest would be March of 2021. And again, split between the city and county. The city, and that would be split equally, so it would be somewhere $820,000 each. Everything has to go perfectly in order for that date to be met. The odds of that happening, I think, are probably pretty long for it to happen that quickly. But I think it's important that we show both the city and the county, as you said, Dennis, either best case scenario, or some might term that worst case scenario, in terms of what the maximum number is and when the first payment might be due. So again, we believe we are working hard. I don't mind sharing with the fiscal court that we are working hard to identify a firm that would help us with fundraising within the community. Fundraising for corporations, individuals and others who would buy into the terminal project and who would be interested in some sort of naming rights or recognition in terms of being a part of this exciting project for our community. You know, the first new terminal we've had in 65 years. So these numbers, a lot of people have been frustrated by the fact that we really couldn't put our finger on what an exact number was, but I think it's impossible to do that until we've actually bid the construction out. And it's a very complicated, complex project. We've got a civil engineering firm and an architectural firm, both that are working on the project, and the numbers kind of fluctuate almost on a weekly basis as we get updates on potential costs. So this is our view of the world today, and wanted to, in the interest of transparency, wanted to get this in front of the fiscal court so that you could see it and were able to ask any questions. Some of this information has been shared with others individually, but we wanted to get this in front of the full fiscal court. So we're certainly happy to take some questions if anybody has questions, Dennis, unless you have something else to add.
Yeah, what I forgot to mention is due to the CARES Act, most of the work that the 16 million that we recently got, roughly about 800,000 was CARES Act money to allow it to be 100% federally, 100% funding for those items that are FAA eligible. So what that did is obviously reduce the local match, but it allowed us to push the state funding out a little bit further to adjust to take up some of other items beyond. So the CARES Act, 800,000 that we didn't have helped us, and whether there's going to be another CARES Act, HEROES Act, or something that we can take advantage of the future, I don't know yet.
Dennis, can you go back to the parking lot costs again? Show those.
Yep.
Does this initial project include the rental car lot and the employee lot?
Yes. So the rent-a-car lot is 400,000. The employee lot is 200,000. And so that number, Commissioner, that number is down a little bit lower than before. The last time we talked to, I think, one of you all, and there were some items that were in package one that is helping us to get this number down lower.
There was some indication in our conversation that could be, those two lots could be delayed.
Yes.
And then if you get real busy at the airport and need the parking, that
Right.
there was enough room in the
Right.
parking lot to cover those two for now.
Right. To delay, these two items, most definitely can be delayed until such time as they're needed, and so everything would operate under the existing parking lot. So as it is now, we have it here at the existing terminal, we have an employee lot, and we have rent-a-car lots, and we have a paid lot. And so for the time being, until such time as the demand gets to be, we can certainly delay these items.
So could that save $600,000 in the local match?
Yes, let me jump in, Dennis, if I might. So yes, it would save whatever this is an estimated cost, Bill, but yeah, whatever the actual cost it would save. The reason we haven't pulled it out yet is because because the numbers are moving, and because we don't know what the total cost of the project might be and how much money we could raise within the community. We have left it in. We don't have a go, no go point yet, but yes, those two items are up for consideration of pulling out of the project.
So when you bid those, will you bid those as alternates, so you can either leave them out or leave them in?
Yeah, at this point, that is the intent, to leave them in just to get a number, but it'll be an added alternate.
Okay.
Hey, Dennis, this is Jeff Parker. The money you raise, if with your out in the public, will that offset the city county portion? I mean, if you go out and raise $1 million, will that lower that amount by $1 million, or will that be used for something else?
No, it would lower the city and county. The city and counties, so that number you see, so this 5.8 million. So if we raised 100,000, that would certainly draw this number down 100,000. If we raise $1 million, that would draw it down $1 million.
Now, if you get extra funds from the state or FAA, will that reduce our 5.8 million? Or are there other needs that would have to be met with additional funds?
So to give you, if I don't think if we got more money from the FAA, that would help that. I don't believe that would help that number. It may if they reclassify certain items, or we're not reclassify, able to for like the jet bridge. Normally that is entitlement money, and part of that is being used for an existing project on the airport that has to be dealt with, that has a higher priority.
If you were to determine that the parking lot would be non-paid, would that make it FAA eligible?
It would not in this case, because that money for the parking lot would be part of a maximum of 20 million that we can spend on the terminal. But because of utilities is 1.8 million, our total terminal budget is roughly 22 million. So even if it was free parking lot, it would not help.
Okay.
Keep in mind, prior to this COVID, the paid parking lot brought us in $175,000 worth of revenue. So it helps us to run the airport.
That's a very good question, Bill.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's a very good question. And we did originally, think that it was going to be a financial equation, whether or not to whether or not to ask for paid parking or not. However, because, as Dennis said, because the cost of the moving utilities to this new site are almost $2 million, and because that is included in the overall terminal project, it kicks us over the $20 million threshold, and therefore really doesn't allow us to go through that same calculation. Sorry.
Are there any grants available to help cover the utility costs?
We've explored grants. We continue to explore grants, and we're going to do everything in our power to look for funding and grants anywhere from a $50,000 grant to more. And any grant that we get reduces that $5.8 million number. So yes, we intend to aggressively pursue grants.
So
And I assume you're preparing a request to the state for additional funding when the legislature meets?
To go back, we have been working with Bacon Farmer Workman to help us explore other grant opportunities that might be out there. It's our intent to define as much grant money that we can use. Some of it we can't. We're not allowed to double dip, so to speak. If we receive CARES Act money or if we receive federal money, that prevents us from exercising another grant. So, but we intend and have been exploring other grant opportunities that are out there.
Are the utilities eligible for FAA funds?
Yes, to a point. And this gets to be complicated because the FAA will not pay 100% for the terminal. They'll only pay for what the general public will use. So anything within the terminal building that makes money, they will not pay for. So in short, they'll pay for roughly 83%.
86.
No, it's okay. 86% of the terminal building. And the rest is local only. So they are paying for a large percentage of the 1.8 million of utilities. They're paying 86% of the 1.8.
And Commissioner Bartleman, if I could just say your question about the state, we certainly will explore every opportunity with the state, not only in the aviation services, but in economic development. But we're not really putting any placeholder in there for any more money. We feel very fortunate to have gotten the 5 million.
Any financing would be done by the city and the county for those extra funds, is that right? The airport board will not do any financing, is that correct?
Well, the airport board, really we're being owned by the city and county. We could do it, but we operate at a deficit on an annual basis. And when you look at revenues and expenses, and so therefore we would have to be guaranteed by the city and county. So we would explore the least expensive financing option available to us, whether it be through the airport with your guarantee, or whether it be, directly with some sort of bonding with the city and county. And somebody with more expertise than me would need to provide some advice on that.
I know some of the bond rates with CAECO right now in their loan program are under 2%. They're
Wow.
1% or 1 3/4. I forget the number, but I mean, it's if we have to borrow, it's a good time to borrow probably.
See, I've been told that there's there's potentially some USDA money to loan. But it would probably be at a higher rate than your CAECO.
Yeah. In fact, the lady from USDA from Washington, I can't recall her name. She's originally from Kentucky, was here for a chamber meeting last week. Right. Thank you.
Hilda Leg.
Right. Hilda was here, and I had a brief conversation with her, and she said she'd be willing to explore both grants and loans. But I think Dennis is right. The interest rate on a loan would be quite a bit above the CAECO number that you quoted.
I know you probably don't have an estimate yet, but if you were to change from the exterior to a brick, do you know how much that would save? Any rough ballpark estimate?
We have discussed that. Dennis, have we gotten a number on that?
Well, I think the terminal number would go up if we chose to go with the Kentucky limestone. And
so this is brick number in here. Is that what you're saying?
it is a number. I don't believe it's limestone. It could, it could go down. And I think we're leaning to go to brick anyhow. So if that end up impacting, we won't know that until we actually bid out the project. But just by knowing the cost, brick versus limestone.
Sorry, go ahead.
And Judge and Commissioners, there is a committee of about 6 people that meet every 2 weeks to provide guidance to the architects and the engineers, and review a lot of different things, including under review right now is the possibility of downsizing the terminal. Downsizing is maybe not the right, let's say picking up some space in some key areas, making the baggage claim area smaller, making more efficient use of the space. There's going to be some cost savings there, potentially, and that committee reviews that. There's also a terminal planning committee, a community terminal planning committee of about 12 or 15 people. The judge is on that. The judge and Commissioner Jones are on that committee. We will be reviewing in November at a meeting the potential to right size the terminal somewhat. So again, we are working hard to make sure that we expend any taxpayer money as efficiently as we possibly can. And to keep that number to an absolute minimum. We just can't put our arms completely around it at this point in time. But we didn't feel like we should wait any longer to come to our elected officials and provide you with some, the opportunity to see where we were with the project and how the costs were coming in.
George, is the jet bridge, is that a FAA project or is that separate from the private funds?
I'll let Dennis answer that one.
I'm sorry, the question again?
The jet bridge, is that FAA eligible or is that come out of the private share?
It is normally FA eligible, and we're looking at this shows 50,000, and that's a local only. That's a local share of that, and we're looking at normally it's roughly about a little under $1 million. We're looking at the possibility of buying a used one. And I don't have a solid number on that. I've heard like 600,000 or so. But until we bid it out, we won't know the exact number. So it would be, if I could use AI entitlement money, that would normally go towards the boarding bridge. But because I have an issue more important to that to deal with on the airfield by FAA priority wise, if I have any money left over, that certainly will be applied towards the project. And I think in this overall scheme, we're showing half of that being applied to this project. So 500,000 of my normal $1 million in entitlement money is being applied to this project. And the other half is being set aside for a more important FAA issue.
Okay, so the FAA eligible is about half the cost of the jet bridge. Is that right?
Yeah.
No, is that right, Dennis?
Okay, one more time.
So he's asking whether the FAA will pay for the jet bridge. And normally that would be is it part of the terminal project?
Okay, so on a normal year, if I didn't have any priorities, it would be the jet bridge, whatever the cost would be 95% eligible. And then 5% local. We benefit from most airports because most airports that are in a better economic area, the FAA would only pay 90%, but because we're an economically depressed area, the FAA will, on an item like the jet bridge, would pay 95%, and I would have to use my entitlement money for it.
Do you get entitlement money every year?
I do.
If you were to delay the jet bridge in the initial construction and then could you use the entitlement money maybe a year or two down the line? Or do you have other priorities it's needed for?
Yeah, and again, it would compete with the priority. So I don't, knowing some of the priorities I have, it probably would not rise above some other priorities that I have.
Let me mention that there's a lot of people with a lot of experience and people who are focused on having a very nice terminal, but right sizing it and also looking at being as economical as we can be. And so, we ask these things and that's good, but I can assure you there's not anything that's been asked now, and I don't know what question could be asked that among the, what'd you say, Dennis, if, is there 12, 15 of us on the planning committee, and then you and George have been bouncing this around, rolling it over and over, trying to figure what can be saved, what can be delayed, what, how to massage this to where we get what we want at a good price and expend our own money to match the much larger money from the state and feds. And so I feel real good about having you two gentlemen, riding herd on the thing. And then we've got a lot of people who from diverse backgrounds. I'm on it, but there's a lot of smart people on there too that are looking at the whole thing, and all these ideas are being tossed around and debated back and forth. It's a good process to get to a good end, I think.
But I need to apologize for asking questions. I'm sorry if I shouldn't have asked them.
No,
Not at all.
I say it's good to ask them. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to assure that everything is being looked at.
It sounds like, I just want to make sure I understand what we're doing. We're spending a lot of money, local money on it.
Bill, I appreciate the questions. I mean, I think I told Dennis and the rest of my board, we need to come to the community. We need to be open, about what's going on with the project, where the costs are coming in, allow people to ask questions, pressure test, the things that we're doing, and it's important. So.
What else? Any more questions? Anything else, Dennis? George?
Not for me, but just my own statement is I don't mind questions. I don't mind answering them. I could pretty much do this in my sleep now. So, but if there's anything else I can, any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them, either now or offline. You all have my contact information, and I'd be willing to sit down with you all again if necessary.
Right. We're happy to come to future fiscal court meetings. This is it's a great project for the community and really for the region. It's an important project. We're working on something that all of us can be very proud of when we finally get to utilization of it. So
it's a brand new front door to the community. When people come to visit, it'll certainly be a facility that you can be proud of. And if this terminal is anything to speak about, the next terminal could last us another 60, into the next 60 years of Barclay.
So we can plan on the airport board needing money the first quarter of next year from the county and the city, and with the city possibly having a whole new slate of commissioners and mayor, or are they already in, or is this something that we're going to have to? Are we pretty confident the city's going to go along with all this?
We're coming to the county first, Commissioner Parker.
Okay, but we can plan on the first quarter of next year.
Worst case, Dennis said best case, but worst case scenario, we could need some funds in March.
Okay.
And we'll keep you updated on that timing.
I think that's probably the main thing with us. We just, as long as we're updated and we know what we got looking at, I think we'll be in good shape with it.
Okay.
I hear there's at least one mayoral candidate that seems to be behind the project. I can't remember now. All right, anything else we need to talk about on it?
Thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all.
Let's see, I think we don't have anything for executive session that I know of. Anybody have anything? No? So, is there a motion to adjourn, or we need to discuss about any of this between ourselves before we adjourn? No?
No. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, Jim.